When I first bought this Honda Dominator at auction, I would have never thought I was going to ride it for more than 2,000 kilometers in the Moroccan desert. After I rebuilt the engine and fixed all sorts of issues, I was told this bike would not last long. But here we are, surfing the sand of the Sahara Desert. Not everything went according to plan, but challenges are part of the adventure. This is Sandraiders Morocco 2026, over 2,000 kilometers across the old Paris-Dakar tracks on a 35-year-old Honda Dominator. Alright, so I think you might remember this bike. It was actually the first one on the channel. I bought it with a non-working engine and I had to rebuild it. And now I'm getting it ready for a new adventure. It's going to Morocco in a couple of weeks, where I'm going to participate in Sandraiders. It's an event, non-competitive, with the idea of reliving the adventure spirit of the original Paris-Dakar, when it was more of an adventure than a race. Exclusively for these old bikes, pre-year 2000. It's gonna be 7 days of riding in the desert, on the tracks, mostly off-road, for a total of about 1,500 kilometers, but I'm gonna tell you more when I get there, and I think I'm gonna show you some very nice builds of crazy old bikes. But before we do that, let's take a look at how the bike is prepared for the event and what I will bring with me. Alright, so first of all you see proper off-road tires, and of course I run with a mousse tire because I don't want to have flat. Extra fuel canister of about 5 liters because the minimum requirement is of 200 kilometers. I have mounted, this is my favorite part, the roadbook navigation, the roadbook holder with a trip master and the remote controls on the handlebar. It is optional, some people can just choose to go with a GPS and GPX track. Then over here I mounted a fuel filter on the line between the tank and the carburetor, because yeah, fuel quality over there, it's not always optimal. And I mounted also a pre-filter on the airbox because of sand and dust. I intentionally didn't want to do a crazy build with this one. I know, for example, suspension is gonna be a weak spot of this bike because yeah, they are old and I didn't do any work on them. But on the other side, I wanted to limit the budget spent for it. It's gonna be a good test for the engine as well. I wanna see if my rebuild and the skills I put into it, if it's actually gonna hold or if it's just gonna break. Okay, so the way these work is that next Saturday, which is a couple of weeks before the event starts in Morocco, I bring the bike to one of the available pickup points where they're gonna ship it to Morocco, and then I will simply fly there. And together with the bike, I can bring a box with my stuff. So this is the box, and it has to include basically everything and anything I need. So I got a jacket, enduro pants, protection, camelback, water resistant jacket and pants, knee protections. Then what you see over here are inner tubes, because I never fully trust mousse inserts. And then at the bottom you see all sort of replacements. A wiring loom, gear and clutch, lever, air filter, extra oil, complete clutch. Inside here is a stator, a chain, yeah, small things in the boots like spark plugs, some electronic. So I'm actually super excited about this event, as well, first of all, you might know at this point that I don't like to just rebuild bikes just to look nice and keep them there, but I actually like to go on adventures with them, and this is gonna be an amazing adventure. So now it's just a matter of bringing a bike to the pickup point in France, Alright, so it's 5:30 in the morning. I have 5 hours drive. Let's go! Exactly 5 hours later. You see, these two are also Honda Dominators like mine. You can clearly see it from the engine and the frame. But then they get all personalized and changed. They mostly use Honda XR parts. So bike loaded on the crate. I mean, there's not much else to do now. See you in 2 weeks in Morocco. I'm really looking forward. Super excited. I didn't expect it to be raining in Morocco now. Here we go, Sandraider bus.
A ver, saludar, chicas. A ver. Venga, vamos a hacer famosos a todos, ¿eh?
Alright, morning of day 0. This is how things look in Saidia. Fancy hotel for sure. Seaside over there. Okay, honestly, I'm a bit skeptical because a 5-star hotel is not the first thing I associate with an adventure or a Dakar style thing. But I don't want to jump to conclusions, so let's see how it develops. Enough with the travel blog content. Let's go and see the bikes. There we have the trucks, the tents that will follow us during the event, trucks with all the materials and boxes. And here we got the bikes. Oh, here's another Dominator like mine. So yeah, in total we are, I heard, 180 participants with all sort of bikes. And here is mine. It is very much stock compared to the other ones. Probably this is one of the most expensive builds that I've seen around. This is from an American guy. The old Africa twins are just... I think the XR 600 and 650R are the most common base. Yeah, I still have to find my box and figure out what's the plan for today actually. Alright, so paperwork is done. I've got all the things I need for the bike. On top here we have the Owaka, that's how it's called. It's basically a safety GPS, so the organization can always see where I am, and if I need help, if I crash or something, I can press the buttons over here. Then I've got a bunch of gadgets. The 3 big ones here, they go on the bike, so I can be identified anytime. And the 3 medium size, they go on the box, as they say here. In addition to that, we got some gloves, workshop gloves, multifunctional tubular wear. Quite handy, I like those. So I'm gonna get the road book tomorrow in the morning, the paper road book. I haven't seen many people with that. I think most of them are using what's called a Trippy, which is like basically like a Garmin electronic navigation device, but that tells you only to go left, right, or gives direction without actually seeing the track. I think that's how it works. But yeah, I prefer the paper.
Bienvenidos todos. Otra vez, otra edición de Sandraiders Marruecos. Es la más grande. Es una gozada ver la gente que hay. Casi llegamos a 200. Esto es una pasada.
Good afternoon to everybody. We're super excited. We're so excited to welcome you all in Sandraiders 2026 Moroccan edition. We also wanted to thank you all because we're so excited to see you all's faces, and we are super excited to announce that this year is the biggest one yet, and we're reaching almost 200 riders.
Alright, so the briefing is over. It took quite a while actually, also because they do it in 3 languages, Spanish, French and English. It was the introductory briefing. It was actually very nice because they introduced the whole team, from the mechanics, the medical team and the organizers, giving credit to each of them for all the hard work that's behind an event like this one. They gave general information about how things are going to be working and what we can expect from the coming days. There will be a briefing every morning for the details of each stage. Tomorrow it was supposed to be 350 kilometers because the goal is to reach the sand and the desert, so the dunes in Merzouga, as quick as possible, just in 2 days. Unfortunately, the weather has been quite challenging in the past days. The camp that was supposed to be set for tomorrow night has been flooded, so they had to find some alternatives. Because of the heavy rain, they're gonna have to make some changes to the tracks. It's 10:30 in the evening. It never stops.
Check the idle.
To make sure nothing goes in.
Briefing! Briefing!
He has reported back to us that the truck is in good condition, so don't worry about it.
So, briefing. Nothing fancy. Kilometer 246, we are gonna cut through the main road and just do the last, at that point, almost 150 kilometers to the camp on the road. The bike is very wobbly on the off-road tires, and I also think it's because the way I mounted the rim lock on the rear tire, I struggled quite a lot. So I think it's not properly mounted, but let's see. Alright, so 97 kilometers done. Lunch break time. So far it has been quite easy, mostly asphalt actually and a bit of gravel roads. But I think it's a good test for the bike. Suspensions are terrible. But I do have a problem with I believe it's something related to the carburation or the fuel, where basically if I open the throttle just more than the bare minimum, it really stutters and it doesn't go, which makes it quite challenging to drive, because basically I can only drive at minimum RPM. So what I'm gonna try to do now is to remove the additional filter I put on the airbox. Maybe that will make a difference. Let's see. Yeah, this one has to go. I put it here as an extra filter, but maybe it makes more damage as it's choking the engine, but I don't think that's the issue. So first, roadside repair, day 1 of Sandraiders. I guess there will be many days like this. Right, so we are basically in the middle of nowhere. The day is from now on we'll start the section that has been changed because of the weather conditions. So we are at kilometer 248, so it will be 150 kilometer about of just normal road, but it has been quite nice. I'm actually very happy.
We keep on moving along.
All right, so let's make the recap of today before it gets dark. So we started quite late, actually. We did a bit of asphalt from the hotel, and then it started with nice tracks. Today, as we are in the north of Morocco, there's not really sand, but it is mostly rocks and hard packed terrain, which can be quite challenging if suspensions of the bike are not set properly, and it's quite loose ground. Plus there are all these kind of creeks where water normally goes through, but now they're dry, but they can be fairly tricky as they're hard to see, and you just find yourself in them. Depending how deep they are, you might fly over. But anyway, we did quite some kilometers of that, and it was fun. It was well tracked, and also the road book was well done. Regarding the bike, so the bike behaved as expected, I would say. Yeah, so the first self-inflicted problem I had right away from the start was that the engine was not revving up. Basically, the bike was not getting enough air. With that solved, then a whole bunch of other issues started. Well, let's take a look. Suspensions are the weakest one, so it was bottoming out basically at every bump. Then the road book got loose, the road book holder here, which it was super annoying. The zip tie for the tank bag also broke. I lost the license plate. I think that's about it. I already checked the oil level and it's fine, so that's a good sign. And it seems like it's not leaking brake fluid anymore, so that's also positive. I'm not sure if it's just because there's no brake fluid in the pump anymore. I will have to check that. Time to get changed, get ready to work on a bike and fix all of those small issues so the bike is ready for tomorrow. I don't know how much you can see and hear, but I think it's well past midnight. We have the briefing at 8, and yeah, bike is mostly ready, and yeah, just go to sleep and continue tomorrow. But I'm tired. So here are the bikes. Here is the restaurant, breakfast place. Good. So the bike is ready for day 2. License plate still to be found. Roadbook loaded. There has been changes in the first part of the track, so I guess I will have to follow the GPX file for the first kilometers. I don't know yet because it is 8:30 and no briefing yet. So let's go and take a look what other people are doing. Here's the bike cemetery while having breakfast. This one I heard broke the whole front wheel, forks and everything. Most of the others are just engine issues.
Good morning everyone, welcome to the second day. Today's route will be explained by Jordi. Today's day is gonna be around 366 kilometers. It should have been 380, but we've taken away the first 20, so we're gonna be riding on paved road for the first 90 kilometers, and then we're gonna get on the track.
I have to take it slow because this yeah, piano. Yeah, no. So I stopped in the shadow of these three to have a snack and a break from the terrible suspension of this bike. On this, you know, the ground is all like this, rocky soil, very hard, which it's just killing me. Really can't wait to get back to the paddock for today. 40 kilometers remaining. The bike overall is doing all right. It is quite fun, I have to say. And there is nobody around. Here's the accommodation for tonight in Merzouga, and I think actually for 2 nights we're gonna stay at the same place. They are tents, but they are much nicer than what it was yesterday. We even have a private shower. Hello, I need a shower. Not bad. Okay, after dinner, after a couple of beers and a shower, I'm ready for the recap of day 2. 360 kilometers, first 90 asphalt, easy, then stones, rocks, suspension going crazy. Then fuel became a problem, almost ran out. Then apparently a lot of people got stopped because of frequent accidents, but somehow I didn't. So I was the first one and only one on the track. More stones, more rocks, a bit of sand, and overall good, fun, exhausted. I underestimated how shit the suspension would be. They are fairly shit. And I'm quite tired, but overall it was good. The bike, this was still a problem, and now I fixed it with some zip ties everywhere, so it was better than yesterday, but not good. I removed the brake cover there because it was touching the disc. So the chain guide that should be over here broke. That means the chain is touching the swing arm and it makes an awful noise, and also it's not nice. So I'm gonna try to fix it now somehow. Rest is pretty good actually. A lot of people working on the bikes here, good vibe, and just having fun. Right, it's 11 p.m. and this is what the Sandraiders paddock looks like. We have 3 tents. The one on the right is the bar and entertainment tent. Then over here we have the self-service tent. That's where tools are made available for everybody to work on their own bike. Here we have the tools. Then we have the bar over there with free beer, very important. And this is the tent of the mechanic. This is where bigger issues goes to. There's, I think, the line of bikes outside here is the line of bikes that need servicing. The mechanics and the team is working around the clock. Pickup trucks are still coming back, bringing bikes that stopped on the road or on the trails. They make a list of things to fix and try to address them so that the riders can continue working, continue riding in the morning. So this is gonna be the playground for today. Right, so I'm behind the truck as it's cooler. Briefing day 3 done, and it's a bit more of a particular day as we are spending 2 nights at the same location. We are in Merzouga, that's where the sand dunes park is. So anyway, for today the plan was and is first in the morning there was a sand guided tour in the dunes. And it was super fun. Then we're gonna leave at about midday, and we are gonna do a loop of about 160 kilometers all around the perimeter of the dunes. And yeah, today it's quite hot, like starting to be uncomfortably warm when wearing boots and all the gear. That's why I'm hiding in the shade. super exciting to drive in the sand. Really loved it. And let's see how it's gonna be the rest of the day. Whoa! This is Nara! Hiya!
I hear you talking at work to the boys in the gym, talking at the bar till I walk.
We fabricated a spacer there, which should be the final fix for the roadbook holder. So today, well, I was a bit annoyed because of the situation with the fuel. At the briefing they said, oh, don't worry, 3 kilometers from the start there would be a gas station. So I went on 20 kilometers of nothing in the sand, and then the bike went in reserve. With that sorted out, actually the tracks on the around the dunes were a lot of fun because they are large, wide open tracks with a lot of sand but flat. But bikes are already coming back with burnt clutches. This is one of them. Today I was quite surprised with how the bike went in the sand. I expected it much worse, but it actually did all right. I got actually very concerned when it turned off in the sand. It lost power and turned off, and I thought that I seized the engine. I only ran out of fuel, so that was a good surprise. Here we go. Night of day 3, well, night 3 at Sandraiders. The mechanics are full on. It's about 9 p.m. at the moment. Unbelievable the amount of effort they put in fixing bikes. Today was clutch day. So, start day 4. Briefing was nothing that important, just to fuel up at kilometer 10, because then there will be 190 kilometers without any gas station. Wow. So far, actually, the tracks are very good. So they're not it's not sand, but it's also not. There are not too many stones, so I can go smoothly. I'm going at about 50 kilometers per hour, and if I take them at more than that, yeah, like this one, it's gonna bottom out, and that's not good for the bike. Oh. Easy. This is the camp for tonight. We are at this fancy resort hotel. Bikes are starting to come back on the pickup trucks, the ones that had problems. So let's start from the bike today. Actually, it went surprisingly well considering how rough the terrain was today. I just did air filter cleaning because there was quite a lot of dust, oil check, and it was okay. I just added 100 milliliters of oil, but not much. Especially when talking about suspensions, it bottoms out so easily, so quickly. I really have to be careful and slow down, and that's something that I had to learn to do, because normally with a modern bike I would just actually open up the throttle to go over it, but I can't do it with this one because then it just bounces everywhere. It gets dangerous, but it's fun. It's part of the fun. Recap of the day. So today it was at 290 kilometers. The last 40-50 were on asphalt, but it was good because the previous ones were tough. Some sections during the briefing they called them as trial sections, so technical with a lot of stones and river beds. That was quite challenging, and some parts of sand and small dunes that were also quite fun to ride. Hey! Whoa, hey, that was close. Well, man, it's kind of hard with all the tracks in between.
We want to start the briefing saying that As many of you may know, yesterday there was a very big accident on the tracks. We've got a person in Marrakesh with a new Motorex right now. He's been taken care of and he's stable. But we just want to remember everyone, as we have said many times, that please, this is not a competition. We're just traveling, we're here on holiday, we're here to enjoy the trip.
Briefing of today was total 325 kilometers, even longer than yesterday. So we are in Zagora and we are basically going back to Merzouga and doing about 30 kilometers more up north. I think we have some cars or trucks in front. Can't see shit. This is dangerous. I could try this. Exactly. But now I gotta be careful. Now, you know what? I've realized that I forgot to put my backpack on the truck and I left it basically next to it. And the problem is that the backpack contains my passport. I really hope that someone noticed it and realized it has to be on the truck and put it on. Wow. The view here is just amazing. And over there's the photographer taking shots. There was a tricky part right down there. So today was actually quite challenging in some parts, especially because there was a lot of sand and some very soft fesh in narrow tracks, which makes it exceptionally hard to keep up the speed and not sink. But fun. Right, so this is the vibe. It's quite cool actually. Everybody here working on their bikes. I just checked my bike. I had to top up the oil, about half a liter, but that's acceptable considering the sand parts we had, where the engine is quite stressed. Clean the air filter, tighten up a couple of bolts, but other than that, all good, surprisingly good. My main biggest problem now, if you look here, that's the front mousse, which is fucked. I hope it's gonna make it at least until tomorrow, hopefully until the end of the event, 2 more days, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Briefing!
Be aware that the road today, the tracks today are going to be stony and they're going to be mounty. So that's we can find some river with stones and stuff like that.
La etapa de hoy son 325 kilómetros solo y la dividimos en 2 partes. La parte que aún estamos en el desierto y una segunda parte donde vamos a las montañas de Atlas y allí cambia completamente el tipo de terreno.
Easy. Easy. Tell me if this is not amazing. Wow. Oh la la. So tonight we made it to the camp. What you see over there is the Atlas mountain chain, and it does have snow on it. We left in the morning and we knew we were going away from the desert and getting into the mountains, so we had a little bit of sand in the beginning and then it got more and more rocky. Look at this. The first 150 kilometers until the gas station were quite technical, I would say. A lot of rocks, slow, so also took a lot of hours to just cover that distance. Morocco is, you got the sand south, but then you have this very rocky desert as well. Then they stopped everybody because apparently someone got hurt. I heard about a broken leg on the previous part, and they were considering what to do. So after some minutes they decided that everybody had to take the road all the way to where we are now in Midelt. Yeah, that's a bit of a pity because even though it was quite exhausting, it was fun. I liked it, I enjoyed it. The front mousse is getting worse and worse. It made it till here, and I think I'm gonna try to carry on till tomorrow, end of the day. That's the last day. Morning of last day, day 7. Last night I had a bit of an upset stomach, but nothing too bad. We are in the mountains, so it is fairly cold this morning. That's why I'm wearing a jacket.
Now, our last stage today, we had to cut our first bit, our first 66 kilometers, around 66 kilometers of the starting point, because the track was in bad conditions.
Medio pizza!
Ahora, casi me atropella, media pizza. Venga, vámonos. Se ha quedado fuerte,
È perfetto,
Qué pensamiento ha tenido,
Una pizza y media.
Pero muy bien,
Sí,
Eso
sí,
es
sí.
para toda la vida.
Sí, sí,
¿Sabes
sí.
qué pasa?
Che passa?
Cada vez que te veas esto te vas a
Penso a
acordar
te,
de mí.
certo. Ciao. Allora, we're gonna go up to 2,500 meters in elevation, and it's gonna be fairly cold. Water. Dominator is a tractor. Second gear, tractor mode. I stopped to take a couple of pictures. I really like this kind of trails and the landscape and the mountain areas. They're so nice. The bike is running a little bit more rough because of the altitude, but overall it's not that bad. Easy, no rush. It's the last day. We made it till here. Wow, the tracks today are beautiful. It reminds me of Sardinia. Temperature is perfect. It's a shame it's the last day. bike loaded. Now I just have to prepare the box. And that's it. I'm sad that it's over already. It's been a great adventure. I would have gone on for another week at least. I was really feeling good on the bike, and thank you, Dominator, for carrying me, coming together with me in this adventure, and well, see you at home for the final consideration of this event. Right, so I actually wanted to do the final consideration video when the Dominator was back, but it has been 3 weeks since I'm back from the event, and I still don't know when I will have to go and pick it up, but I will get to that later on. What you see here is the next project that you're gonna see soon on the channel. So regarding the event, I would say let's first start from how much it costed me, and then I'll draw my conclusions. Okay, so in this table here, you see all the costs I tracked down anytime I spent money regarding the event. So we start from the 2,900 euros needed for the signing up to it to the event. That includes the participation, the accommodation, breakfast and dinner, transportation of the bike to and back from Morocco. Then there's a mandatory repatriation insurance. And then there are subjective additional costs like the flights to reach Morocco. What costed quite a lot also was the transportation of the bike from home to the pickup place. And then there are the costs about the material for the bike, so tires, mousse, for a total of 4,427 euros. Now, in my opinion, compared to other events I participated in, it's a fair price. It's not cheap, but it's comparable. Yeah, what else? I mean, overall the event has been super cool and it was organized well. It was a lot of fun in general. So even though the event is advertised for amateurs, amateur is not the same as beginner. So it does require a bit of experience riding off-road, being used to ride a lot of hours every day, because I've seen people going home before the end of the event just because they couldn't handle it anymore. And the same also goes with a bike. So even though it's an event for old bikes, it's a lot of kilometers on an old bike, and the bike should be in decent conditions. While I've seen people showing up with bikes that they bought 1 week before on Facebook Marketplace, and of course then they had problems from the very first day till the end. Yeah, other than that, well, it's, as they said multiple times, it's not a competition, and it's also not a hardcore adventure. It's more like a cool vacation, I would say, on the motorbike. Regarding the organization, I think they do a very good job, especially on the things that matter. Over there in Morocco, no problems, everything went smoothly, and there's a lot of work to move around 200 plus people. I think there are some points of improvement, especially in the communication before and after, like replying to emails and knowing what will happen when. That's still a bit chaotic. And to wrap it up, they are organizing a special one-off event next year, 2027, where they're gonna go from Paris to Dakar.
Sandraiders Paris-Dakar nace de un sueño de un niño, de un sueño de unos niños y de una gente que miraba la televisión y decía, me gustaría hacer lo que hacen esta gente.
It's going to be about 3 weeks, I think. I guess it's going to be super cool, but you can imagine that if I spend 4,000 euros for 1 week, how much it's going to cost for 3 weeks. So that's a bit out of my budget, but if Sandraiders wants to invite me, I would be very happy to join. So thank you very much for watching till the end, and see you very soon on the channel with the next project.